Thanks, Cassidy. Joining me now live in the studio is Valerie Sayers. She's the award-winning author of 6 novels. Her stories and essays have appeared in publications like the New York Times and the Washington Post, and she's a creative writing professor here at Notre Dame. Welcome to the show, Valerie.
Thanks so much.
All right, well, let's hit the ground running. Tell me a little bit about what you do.
I write novels, and I spend much of my time desperately seeking the time to write novels. It's hard to get a long enough stretch in a teaching day, but on the other hand, I have the perfect job. It's a great complement to the solitude of writing.
Well, you clearly find the time because you have done so well, and you have a new book that's out right now, The Powers, is that correct?
The Powers, yes.
Tell us a little bit about The Powers.
The Powers is set in 1941, which baseball fans will recognize as the year of Joe DiMaggio's famous hitting streak of 56 games. But it was also the year when the United States was debating whether to enter World War II. So it's very much a book that explores the idea of heroism. We latched on to Joe DiMaggio as a hero, but also explores the idea of the anxiety of war and the tremendous moral struggle that went on for people like Dorothy Day, who is a character in the book, as they struggled to decide whether war was ever justified.
Historical fiction, am I guessing?
I think we could call it historical fiction.
Okay, just kidding. It's my favorite genre. So now you've got me sold. I'm also a huge baseball fan, so this sounds like a book that'll speak to a lot of people. Are you a baseball fan?
I am a baseball fan. I grew up a Yankee fan in coastal South Carolina, which completely defined who I was.
All right, well, is this a common theme we'll see running through a number of your books, or?
Actually, no, it was anomalous. I had written a couple of short stories about baseball. I actually started them after I had cancer. And you know, cancer is such a traumatizing illness. We see our life flash before us. I wanted something just completely releasing and joyful, and that was baseball for me.
And you found it, and I hope it was healing as well.
It absolutely. But then, of course, I had to take it to World War II and pacifism, and it kind of went beyond joyful at that point, as good writing always does.
Well, you have to have some lows to appreciate the highs, right?
Exactly.
And what are you working on next?
Now I'm working on a novel called The Last Days of Peace and Love, or Real Estate. And it's about Brooklyn real estate over the course of 50 years, from the 1970s to the future.
Oh, well, that sounds like another exciting book. My reading list is
I
getting
hope
longer.
so.
Maybe I'll finish The Powers in time to see this one on the shelves.
That's right. It's taking me quite a long time. I think you have time to get The Powers in.
Okay, terrific. I will put that one on my list and then put the other one on for later. And you mentioned that there's a little bit of a struggle to find all of the time to do everything you want to do, to write and to be a professor. How do you balance the two?
I put writing first. That is, I wake up first thing in the morning, take a long walk with the dog to clear my head and enter a kind of state of meditation, and try to grab those earliest hours first. The department sometimes outsmarts me with an 8 o'clock meeting, but if I can avoid an 8 o'clock meeting, I'm in business, and I grab whatever I can get and feel elated for the rest of the day.
Well, your need to avoid the 8 o'clock meetings is now documented, so no one can tell you that you never spoke up.
I'm glad to have it on record.
Before we let you go, you've had some time here as a professor, and you've taught a number of students and brought so much joy to them. Have they, in turn, shown you the results of your work and your investment in them? Have you had any students who've become authors?
Oh, I've had so many students who've become successful authors. I'm only terrified of leaving some out. But I should certainly mention at least one, Lindsay Stark, whose brand new novel, Noah's Wife, comes out this fall from Putnam. She began it as an MFA novella and rewrote it and polished it and really, really honed it. And now a major New York house is bringing it out.
And what a tremendous influence you have had on her and so many students. Thank you so much, Valerie. We really appreciate you joining us this morning. It was a little past 8 a.m., so we didn't quite qualify for that 8 a.m. interruptive meeting.
That's exactly right. My great pleasure.
Thank you so much, and we're going to head over to Megan.